Hey, Gus, was just curious about Isaiah Rodgers didn't end up playing on defense in this game, and was just curious if that was a matchup, just a coaching decision, or if that was related to some of the time he missed in training camp, the concussion protocol.
No, it's a great question. I just talked to Isaiah yesterday in our locker room, matter of fact, and just talked to him about his progress and stuff. So we're hoping he's looking better and better in practice. He looks good, no issues. So, we're going to keep working on that and see how this week in practice goes.
Stephen Holder.
Hey, Gus, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, I've been having some issues. Sorry. Can you kind of? I'm trying to remember how long you and Yannick overlapped in Jacksonville, but just what do you recall? What you guys saw in him that just differentiated him, even back when he was coming out?
Okay, as I look back when he first came in, I think the thing that jumps out in my mind right away about him is he's a fierce competitor, a very plays angry. He's wants to be a really, really good player, wants to be really, really good technician, wants to understand the game to the highest level, took meticulous notes. All that type of guy, but a really, really strong competitive mindset. Like you had to pick your times when to go talk to him, because he was so focused and so driven. That's the things that really stood out to me now, back then.
Mike Chaplin.
Guess I realize it's just one game, but you had 3 of your linemen play like 80% of the snaps. And then Taekwon, I think, got in there quite a bit. Do you want more of a rotation, or is that just the way the game worked out?
No, you're right. We'd like to see more of a rotation, see some guys getting in there. I think some of it, we're looking at guys and trying to get their, where we earn their trust so we can give them more reps. But ideally, yeah, you'd like to see those, we said we want to strive to get 8 guys, where we can play 8 guys at any time. So we're still getting a feel for them, the combinations that are best in the game, the practice, how well they practice and earning the right to get reps on the field, the consistency where guys trust them. So, yeah, you're right. We're going to try to lean more towards that this week to get them more reps.
Thanks, Coach.
James Boyd.
Gus, Twitty had a huge overtime. Can you speak to maybe what you saw him and how you saw him perform and how that evolved when he got in there and made those plays?
Well, it's interesting because on Wednesday's practice, after Wednesday's practice that week, Quiddy's kind of a quiet performer. He doesn't say much. He just works his tail off. He plays with great effort, really works hard on his technique. But unless you really watch him, there's not a lot of antics to him. So he's kind of one of those guys that's a blue collar, just gets his job done. But I think it really showed up Wednesday, and it was one of those things where we addressed it in the unit meeting about, let's just take a look at about 4 or 5 snaps of Quiddy pay and just look how he practices, look at his effort, look how he goes about his job. This is nothing different than he did in training camp, but it was pointed out. And, so it's not surprising that he went in the game and performed the way he did. Now, I think when you talk to him, he said in the offseason, he kind of went back and looked at his play and recommitted to some of the things he felt like he needed to work on, but he's in a good space right now. He's playing with a lot of confidence, works his tail off, and it's, that old anecdote, hard work works. And for him, it's a great example to the rest of the guys.
Well, last one here, George Bremer.
Gus, during training camp, you said that you had kind of talked with Quiddy about not being a one-trick pony, using his speed and using his power. On those 2 sacks, did you see that? It looked like the first one was a bull rush and the second one was kind of a spin move.
Yeah, I think he's getting more of a toolbox to his pass rush. And Nate and Matt have done a great job with him. Quiddy's been very open to it. I think Quiddy is a guy himself that wants to develop to have a few more tools in his tool belt to use special situations, whether he's getting chipped or not. So it was cool to see him, bring those things to life in the game.
I'll actually go one last one. Joel Erickson.
Hey, Gus, when you guys had some issues in coverage, did you guys have trouble maybe matching some routes?
Yeah, I didn't think our spacing was good at times. Just overall, we got to improve on that. We talked to the group about, all right, we took a test and we've got our grades back, and we now know where our standard is and where we have to go from there. But there's some things that we're not real clean on yet. But we're getting there. I think, give credit to the Texans, some of the things they did, but I think, it was addressed, and I think the players recognized it during the game that at times they got a little bit off kilter on some of their landmarks. So we got to work on our spacing and understand the different calls that we have and where they need to be located. Some were just alignment errors. We were misaligned and didn't allow us to be in the perfect position to make some of those plays.